At Mulago National Referral Hospital, most eyes focus on the wards, the surgeries, the emergencies, the loud fights for life. But behind the gloves and humming machines, there is another war being fought quietly. This is the story of Mulago's clinical laboratories, where evidence guides every prescription, where answers are hunted down in drops of blood, and where lives shift because of a single test.
This lab in Mulago is in 2 units. We have what we call the automation lab, where we are right now, where everything is fully automated. And then we have the microbiology lab, where we deal with microorganisms. Mulago, being a national referral hospital, observes international safety procedures, and for this reason, that's why we have the microbiology lab separated from the rest of the lab. We provide a 24-hour service, and we work 7 days a week. Here where we are, we have a group of 30 members of staff, and we provide service to both inpatients, that is patients who are admitted on the wards, and outpatients. These are the patients that come to see the doctors in the outpatients clinic. On a daily basis, we see an average of 1,000 patients per day. We have equipment that have capabilities to provide the latest service delivery in patient care and management. The lab has different sections. We have, as we move around, we have the phlebotomy, where the samples are collected from. Then we have the reception, where the patient's information accompanying the samples is entered into the computer systems of the hospital. And then we have the automation area, where the analysis is done to generate patients' results. Briefly, that's it about the setup of the lab. We can move around and then you appreciate how we operate.
Every sample processed here represents a patient's story, a story of hope, perseverance, and the relentless pursuit of health.
When patients come, we make them comfortable in this area. We check the request forms that have been made by the doctors. We see which tests we are going to do. We talk to our patients and make them comfortable. We make them understand what we are going to do, and then we take off the samples. So we collect the samples from here, quite isolated from the rest of the place, so that it is self-contained.
At the reception area, every interaction is a crucial step towards a diagnosis. Here, skilled medical lab technicians like Narumaga ensure that patients feel at ease as their samples are collected with precision and care.
Here we specifically take off patients' blood samples before taking them to the sample reception, and we usually dispatch results from here. So you're all most welcome.
This is our automation lab. Everything here is fully automated. This lab is a 2-in-1 laboratory. Here, we do clinical chemistry tests and hematology tests. Clinical chemistry, these are tests that look at blood, the chemical changes that take place in blood in relation to disease. So if you have a problem in your blood, we check the chemical changes in the blood And these chemical changes help us to identify the disease or to tell us the progress of the disease or to monitor the treatment the patient is undergoing. A simple example is a diabetic patient. When a patient is diabetic, it means the blood sugar is high. So we bring the sample here, put it on the clinical chemistry machine, we analyze it, look at the level of the blood sugar, and then we are able to advise the clinician that this patient's blood sugar is very high, and the clinician takes the appropriate action. Again, if the patient is on treatment and they bring that sample for blood sugar here, it is analyzed to see the levels in which it is varying. We have two machines here for clinical chemistry, the main machine and the backup machine. In case this one develops a problem, then service delivery is not interrupted because we can easily shift onto the backup machine. Now here again, as I said about chemistry tests, we check the liver, we check the organs of the body, the liver, the heart, the pancreas, the bones, the brain, and the hormones that move in blood, plus the enzymes. Again, we are able to check the tumor markers. We are able to capture tumors that are growing in the body using this system, like tumors for the prostate, the PSA, tumors for the uterus, the beta HCG, tumors for the pancreas, tumors for the brain, tumors for the bones. They can all be captured here if the doctor wants to know if the patient has the tumor. We also do infectious diseases, HIV, syphilis, COVID-19, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, hepatitis A, rubella, all of them, the infectious diseases. We can do them on this machine. This machine can also help us to do drugs of abuse. It also helps us to check the drugs that are used in treatment of patients. If a patient is on treatment and the doctor is interested in knowing how much blood, how much drug is in the saturation of the patient's blood, this machine can be able to tell us. So it is a masterpiece of health service delivery in this hospital. These are German systems, and as I said, Mulago embraces quality, so that's why we had to go with systems that are robust and be able to help us to run the samples.
In terms of efficiency, we are looking at what numbers can these machines handle vis-a-vis what would be handled when the machines are not in place.
Yes, this machine can analyze 2,400 samples in an hour. You may find a patient has got more than 20 tests to do, for example.
All right.
Yes. So if on average a patient has 20 tests to do and you are doing 2,400 tests in an hour, then you can be able to manage the volumes. Yeah. So we have qualified staff that operate these machines and generate the results, review them and interpret them before they are released to the patient. Okay. So one of them is Tony Sengova, is our staff on duty now, operating this machine.
You're welcome to the clinical chemistry department. So this is a department that deals with the analysis of body fluids, such as blood for diagnostic purposes and prognostic purposes. So basically we deal with analyzing blood, one for organ function tests. For example, if you want to check your liver, how it is functioning, your kidney, your heart, this is the machines that we use to check your liver. As you can see, we received samples in the morning, so the machine is analyzing the blood. These are some of the specimens that we received. These are patient samples. Yeah. So the machine is going to analyze them and we shall get results after the analysis. And we shall depend on these results, one, to make a correct diagnosis, whether your liver has a problem or not, or if in case the doctor wants to confirm. So we shall depend on these results.
Just a layman's question.
Yes.
If my liver is sick, what happens? How do you determine that my liver is sick?
Okay.
Using blood.
Okay, first of all, as you are aware that blood passes through each and every organ in the body. So whatever happens to your liver, one, there will be chemical changes in blood that we shall be able to detect. The tests we check for the liver, we shall look at the liver enzymes. These are enzymes that help the liver to function properly. So in case your liver gets a problem, usually you shall find your liver enzyme elevated. So in cases of diseases like hepatitis B, that is a viral infection that affects the liver, we shall find your liver enzymes elevated. So when we analyze your sample, we shall find that your liver enzyme are too high. So there we shall know, okay, there's a problem with your liver.
Can you give us a picture of how many patients, when you analyze, that you find sick? Especially, for example, sensitive organs like the liver.
Well, in Mulago National Referral, we have specialized clinics. So usually on Wednesday, we have a GIT clinic. So you realize that in a GIT clinic, we can receive around 500, 700 patients.
The reason why we do liver function tests, it's not because that the patients are having liver problems. Before the patient is started on treatment, the doctors are interested in knowing the integrity of the body organs of the patient. That is the liver, the heart, the kidneys, the lungs, the bones. Because when they take in these drugs, later on we want to see if these organs are being affected by the drugs. So every patient that comes in the hospital, it's a standard operating procedure that this patient is checked to know if the organs of the body are okay to handle the kind of drug that is taken in. But again, as he explained, there are those specialized clinics that handle different organs of the body. The liver, the kidneys, the heart. Those clinics, they send samples here specifically to check those organs if they are affected.
Do you ever get samples outside Mulago, other than samples from within?
We get samples from outpatients clinics because we budget for the patients of Mulago. We don't budget for outside patients, except those ones who want services, they pass through the private wing. They are registered in the private wing and they are handled as private patients.
So, Mr. Ramadan, when are you coming for a checkup?
Do I look like I'm sick? Do I need a checkup?
No, you don't need to first get sick to do a checkup.
Right.
Yeah? You can always do a regular checkup on your organs even before you fall sick. There is what we call a wellness program. You understand? Yes. You should always come for a regular general checkup. We check your kidneys, your liver, your blood pressure, your heart. Yeah.
Okay, so what's the criteria? If I'm not a patient and I want to do that checkup, that wellness checkup.
Well, we have a private outpatient department. You come, they register you. They will give you a lab request form. Then you'll come to the lab. We shall take off your samples and then we analyze your blood.
And that's free?
Free of charge.
Thank you. In that same line, do we have people that come and they are okay, then you discover that their organs are sick?
Yes. We have such scenarios.
Such scenarios?
Yeah.
And I guess early detection helps a lot.
Yes. And in this lab, we are able to detect, even at the early stages of disease, we are able to detect that, okay, your liver has a problem, then we start you on treatment. You see, even your vehicle, you don't need for it to first break down to take it for service. How about your body? You should usually come for a general checkup.
That is a culture we adopt. It's not something that
and
very Ugandan.
For early detection of diseases, like we mentioned that this machine can do tumor markers. We know that men at a particular stage in life, above 50, then they tend, the biggest percentage of our men, they tend to develop the prostate cancer. So we capture it early. Before it becomes cancerous, we can see that your tumor is very active, and therefore we send it to the relevant clinics for better handling and management.
Next, we venture into the hematology lab, where blood is not just a sample. It is a story waiting to be told in cells and components.
This is the hematology section. Hematology is the study of blood and blood-related diseases. So anything to do with blood and related diseases is the study, is what we call hematology. And this is the unit that handles that. We have 3 machines, and we have our competent technical staff that run these machines. Mr. Ndoho Edgar is the head of the unit.
In here, we do a number of investigations, and among those investigations, there is what we call a CBC test, or what we call complete blood count in full. Other people call it full blood count, or FBC. Others call it full hemogram, though those terms are just used interchangeably by clinicians, but they all mean the same thing. So within here, to be able to do a CBC test, we use a hematology analyzer, which you're seeing here. It's a fully automated, highly sophisticated equipment that is used to help us look at those different components of blood. When I talk of different components of blood, I'm mainly looking at the major parameters. I'm talking about the red blood cells, I'm talking about platelets, and I'm also talking about white blood cells. So this is the analyzer that helps us to count those cells, and at the end of it all, we come up with a report which is called a CBC report. So this analyzer, once a CBC report has been generated, it becomes a useful tool for clinicians to be able to tell whether the patient they are having before them has got anemia, or that patient has got an infection, or that patient has got a blood disorder. We know of many blood disorders, but in this case we can mention of leukemia. That is a common one. We've heard of that. So it is from the CBC report that the clinician will be able to have a clue on what has really brought this patient to the hospital. It's sophisticated, and it uses 5 different advanced technological platforms to analyze those cells, so that we can look at the cell in terms of their numbers, their size, and their content in terms of hemoglobin concentration, which is very important in moving oxygen around the body. It has a capacity of running 120 samples in 1 hour. So in a tune of 1 hour, you are able to have 120 results out. And it will be able to give us over 54 different parameters about the cell lines that we are interested in. And those parameters which are generated, most of them are for diagnostic purposes. Other parameters are for research purposes. Other parameters are just for us for internal quality control system. So it is a very powerful machine, highly sophisticated, using advanced technology to do a CBC test, and whatever comes out is reliable, it is timely, and very accurate because of those different platforms that it is using. Within this unit, this is not the only machine we are having. We have that machine you're seeing over there, and there is also another machine we are seeing here, all these two machines are acting as a backup of the main analyzer. So in an event that this analyzer has a problem, then we jump very fast to utilize these machines. Because here what we need to understand, or what the public needs to understand, is that we offer a 24/7 service. In that from Monday to Sunday, morning, evening, public holidays, whichever day, we are operating. And to be able to operate all through, you can't rely on only one machine. That's why we are having different analyzers sort out any problem that may come up within the system. Yeah, when power goes off, this building has got a power backup system, in that if there is power shortage or power checking, then we have a backup system immediately get swinging into play. Among other duties that we really perform, other than doing diagnostic testing, we also offer teaching services. So we receive students from different universities, Makerere University, Mbarara University, IU, KIU, so many universities around send students here, and we accord them all the necessary attention they really deserve.
From the moment a sample is drawn to when a diagnosis is made, Mulago's clinical laboratories embody excellence in healthcare diagnostics. Their unwavering commitment not only illuminates the intricacies of human biology, but also paves the way for innovative, life-changing treatments.